Live from First Street Studios in South Tampa, Florida, it's time for another round of Last Call with Dan O'Brien, Seth Crumrick, and Jessica behind the camera.
Dan, you're killing me here, dude. My fleet is taking a beating. You've got me dialed in on this. This is ridiculous. When I challenge you to Battleship, because I've been winning in some of these other games, I thought I was going to slam dunk on you. And right now, I'm in big trouble.
You talk a lot when I'm trying to concentrate.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to distract you right now.
I have to win to get my legacy back.
I need that like privacy 360, that sort of protects you online and makes you invisible to everyone trying to steal your information. That's what I need right now for my fleet. Because my fleet is going down. This is not good. All right, I'm going to take a shot. I need this. Come on, Big Red. Come on, Big Daddy. Give me F4.
It's a big no.
Dan, hit me. What do you got, my friend? No.
I'm feeling a little like the Nimitz back in the day, World War II time.
Back in the day.
H6. Hotel 6, baby.
I was afraid you were going to say that, my friend. You sank my battleship. That's it. I'm done.
Straight out of Tampa, baby.
The fleet is at the bottom of the sea. Unbelievable.
Look at that disaster zone right there.
This is horrible. I mean, I am bleeding out here. I just lost my red piece here, but just take it from me. Look at that. That's a fleet in Davy Jones's locker. At the bottom of the sea. I got nothing.
Sorry, dude. Guess what, bro? Good game.
Great game.
A good co-opetition.
That's right. Until the next one.
And then we got a show to do. Thanks.
Let's do it. So, look, I was very excited about the Dallas Cowboys this last week against the Bears. Exactly what we wanted to see. Looking fantastic. It looks like everything, the rust is off from the Detroit game. Everything seemed to be flowing. In this game, though, what stood out to me, Micah Parsons. Give me your thoughts.
Unbelievable player.
Absolutely.
And there needs to be a shift in excellence as far as instead of just the defensive player of the year. This guy, if they don't even play him like on the end the whole time.
Right.
So he's not going to necessarily have the sacks, but he's sitting at 8 sacks, a bunch of tackles, and watching him play Chicago on that recovery. I mean, now Fields did jump over him, didn't make the right play, but that guy ran literally like a running back. He's the fastest dude on the field,
and he's got a leg injury.
Yeah, injured shoulder. Right?
Yeah.
So I think at this point, I don't see any quarterback that's really blowing it out of the area. I think it's Hurts, and then I think it's Parsons, and then I think it's probably Allen.
Yeah.
Right now for league MVP.
But he's in the conversation.
He's got to be, and I'll tell you why he's got to be, because they haven't had a defensive MVP since Lawrence Taylor.
That's crazy.
1986. Think about that.
How can that be? Especially with like Ray Lewis and the Ravens and these things.
I'm embarrassed to even talk about it because the NFL obviously doesn't read history.
Yeah.
And if they've made it essentially a quarterback, award.
Right.
The last person other than a quarterback to win it was Adrian Peterson. And that was like 2009.
Yeah.
So look, here's what I'll say to it though. This kid in 2025, when he gets his, 5-year deal.
Yeah.
He's going to get paid, man.
He needs to be paid. It's unbelievable what he's doing out there.
And it seems like he's a nice enough, likable guy who doesn't get himself in trouble. I mean, you can see he eats, drinks, and sleeps offensive players. Right. That's what he's down with. And I just never seen a kid that young in the league that is an impact player. And you know what he did? He actually brought Vanderbosch life back. Because now he's like a 6'1" defense.
He took the pressure off.
All of it.
He took the pressure off.
And now that kid's making an enormous amount of tackles. So Dallas right now, I don't want to say it because I don't want to jinx them because I don't want to hear all their friends crying at me. But they're in a catbird seat right now as far as the way they look on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
And they're actually, the running backs are going to be amazing. I mean, they got Pollard now.
Yeah.
Zeke comes back in a few weeks. You know, and they're going to be strong run into the playoffs.
I agree, especially with the Giants dropping a game against the Seahawks. No offense, Seahawks, but come on, man. Like, if you're going to be a 5-1 team, man, you don't drop it there. So I think the Cowboys are absolutely in a great spot. I feel much better this week than I did last week. So I really like what I saw this last week, and I think they've got huge upside. And again, you're watching offenses start to build their protection schemes around where Micah Parsons is lined up.
Right.
And it's throwing them off because, like you said, they move them around.
Right.
I love the comparison, too, the fact that Lawrence Taylor was the last guy to win on defense.
It's unbelievable.
Because he reminds me a lot of Lawrence Taylor.
Different, but the same in a sense, like so fast and just a football IQ.
And the
like
power.
An amazing football IQ.
Yeah, and look, his power, I've watched him just rock offensive tackles.
Right.
And no offense to the guys from the past, but offensive tackles now are actually guys that are in pretty good shape.
Right.
You know, they maybe are 16% body fat. They're big, muscular guys. They're not just big dudes like they used to be. So their athletic offensive tackles are getting blown up.
Yeah, I think if he plays the rest of the way like he's playing now,
yeah,
I think it would be a travesty if he's not in the conversation.
Yeah, 100%.
Because the kid is so fast. I've never seen it. When he returned that ball, that recovery, he already ran 20 yards to recover it.
Right.
And then he had all the moves. He did the flip into the end zone like he's a running back or something. I was just like, did I just watch that?
And the conditioning on it too, because that wasn't like first play of the game. Like they've been getting after it for a bit.
It's just crazy. But I just think that, and I think the teams right now you got to look at it. I think Bills and Chiefs, and I think it's Philadelphia and Dallas. That's one of those four teams that win the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
I have no doubt. Sorry about my Bucks.
Yeah,
but we'll go there right now.
Oh man, that was great. Look, it's always a blast to go to Raymond James Stadium and catch a game.
Great ball, great stadium,
great fans, great time in the stands. But boy, we got some problems.
And there's no one area to address it.
Right.
They're decimated on all sides of the ball.
Tom Brady threw for over 300 yards, touchdown, no picks.
Still fifth or sixth in the league.
Yeah, and we watched that zip. When you see it on TV, it's one thing. When you see it in real time, his cannon is still blasting out, man. It's impressive.
But here's the problem, though. You go 274 receptions without an interception.
Yeah,
that's a great stat. But how many touchdowns did he have?
Yeah, and
that's the problem. We're not moving the ball. And I never want to sit here and be critical, but Byron Leftwich is not calling a good offense right now. And it's disappointing to watch because we have enough players to at least beat the Steelers. We had enough players to at least beat the Panthers.
I agree.
And those were two we couldn't give away.
Yeah.
And then we knew the Ravens was questionable.
Yep.
And we know this weekend the Rams are questionable.
Yeah.
And then we know going into Germany against Seattle is questionable. But the way we're looking at it, if we don't get two of those three, you can hang it up. Because then we got the Saints on Monday Night Football. We got the the former Super Bowl runner-ups.
Yeah.
And then Cleveland, and then we're face to face with our head-to-heads the rest of the way. And the Saints always have a vote in Tampa.
They do, and the Saints are playing some good ball out there too. They're playing better than the Bucs are for sure. And look, Tom Brady, just watching it. He was just touched and sacked too many times.
Right.
It's ridiculous. For a guy that can get that ball out of his hands as fast as possible, I mean, he's still one of the quickest in the league on it. He was getting dogpiled way too many times during this game.
Well, if he walks out of this season, and let's say we make the playoffs, and he goes pretty much unhurt because he's a quick release. You watched his arm. I mean, 45, 50 yards still in the air on a drop.
Oh, yeah.
On a dime.
Yeah, laser beam.
It's not like he's old in football years. I mean, he's still playing at a high level. He's always been slow.
Right.
So you can't use that as an excuse, but putting the ball out there, I just think they're trying to run extraordinarily a very difficult offense.
Yeah.
And Aaron Rodgers touched on that in Green Bay, trying to tell his coach, stop making it so complicated.
Yeah.
These guys aren't used to this amount of snaps. All we got to do is play basics for right now and survive. But they're still out there trying to run this Tom Brady offense when they had everybody, and they don't have them now, and it's really taking a toll on the team.
And plus, if you're still doing a lot of 3 and outs, we called it in the last game, the last show.
Yeah.
Hey, we said, look, if Lamar Jackson is in the game by the second half, he is going to tire out the Bucs defense if they're on the field for longer than the offense. And that's exactly what happened.
We watched it. The running backs were getting 15 to 20 yards.
Yep.
The yards after the catch became 5. Now it's 15. Now it's 20.
And Lamar Jackson's escaping. He had a couple epic runs out there in the second half. First half, Ravens were locked down. But the problem was the Bucs defense is on the field a lot more than the Bucs offense. And they got tired. They got actually beat like a drum.
And that's just going to be the way it is the whole season. It's going to be a rise and grind for the rest of the way for Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
But I don't think right now, we started 2 years ago. We won the Super Bowl just about the same way.
Yeah.
But the problem is the schedule didn't look as bad. Yeah. So we got some teams in there that are not playing. So they're like the Bengals. They're a little off.
Sure.
Saints are a little off.
Rams are off.
But somebody of those teams are going to get on. And it better be us, because we can't lose another game now.
100% agree. We don't have that luxury.
No.
A luxury of dropping a should-win game, that's gone. That is sailed. You have to win out practically at this point.
And this isn't an easy game this weekend, because the Rams have a vote too.
And look, not to pick on those that are already down and out and curb stomped through the floor, let's talk about Dan Snyder and the Redskins. It's about time that somebody took him out behind the pasture and put one behind his ear. Because that dude, ever since he's taken over the Redskins, you watch a once storied organization just rot from the core. Just ridiculous.
What was it, 2006 is their last playoff victory?
Yeah. Look, as a Cowboys guy, I have no love for the Commanders, previously known as the football team, previously known as the Redskins. I would chicken lip them all day long and twice on Sunday. And it was for a while there, I would laugh at how bad Daniel Snyder is. And this is coming from a guy who likes a team that is owned by Jerry Jones, right? So it's scalable.
Right.
But it's gotten really sad. It's sad when you look at the fact that stadium's half full. That place, you used to have to inherit tickets to go out and watch the Skins play back in the day. There was it. You weren't just going down and catching a game. It was that fan base was rabid.
The Hogs all wearing.
Oh my gosh, it was great. And now it's just deteriorated. It's bad for the game. Daniel Snyder was very bad for the game. He picked bad people. He got over-involved, and the guy was just a train wreck. He was a cancer that metastasized and made the organization rotten.
I just remember being a kid. You just remember Art Monk. You remember Riggins. Theismann.
Doug Williams, man, winning the Super Bowl.
I was saying, it came from here in Tampa.
Yeah.
And you just looked at all those great players there. And who was the guy forever in the league? I'm thinking he was a defensive back. That was always the fastest guy.
Oh, yeah. I know who you're talking about. His name's escaping me. Thank you. Don't get old, kids. Don't get old.
Yeah, it'll hit me in a minute, though. But then you had, Mann was there, Dexter Manley.
Yeah.
That was a football squad.
Look, when you would see them on the schedule as a Cowboys fan, in the 80s and 90s, you're like, here we go. You knew you were going to have a street fight.
Yes.
And there was a decent chance you were going to be in the wrong end of that street fight.
Right.
And I haven't felt that way about the Washington team for 20 years. They've been hot garbage.
It's sad, but change is good in some cases.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people said the same thing about Dallas. Change would be good.
But you look at the Giants, right? I'll take another team that I have no love for, but respect the organization. The Mara family knows what they're doing, and there are going to be some dumpster fire years. But you are also going to peak, and you're going to grab some Super Bowls in there, too. Magic exists, and it's almost the way the NFL programs teams. You're supposed to be able to go down and then reach the top again.
Well, that's the free agent market.
It's
what drafts, right?
Right.
That's how it's supposed to be.
Which drives me insane when you see teams like the Redskins be so bad. But even our beloved Cowboys that sit stuck in this sort of mid-level mediocrity to pretty good every year, but not hitting those spikes like you're supposed to. Right. There's always something. So I'm glad to see Daniel Snyder go. I think there's going to be a number of investigations that are his problems have just begun.
Probably.
And he's probably trying to build up walls right now to protect himself because he's in big trouble.
Yeah, and I think
allegedly.
Yeah, but I think Washington, with just a change of leadership, maybe at the top. I don't think Rivera's a bad coach. He's a Chicago Bear player. I love the guy, right?
Riverboat Ron, maybe.
But he's done an okay job there. The teams that he has been at, he's got some guys in,
It's never been Coach Rivera. When he was at the Panthers, he had some great teams.
Took him to the Super Bowl, right?
Right. Like he is a great coach. Like that's not up for debate whether he's good or not. What's surrounding him is rotten.
Right.
And that's what's got to change. And it's wild to me that it's taken this long to be able to pop Daniel Snyder out of there, hopefully, and get somebody else in there. A change in leadership can make all the difference.
Yeah, and I don't think they're too far off from playing good football, but they've squandered so many amazing draft picks, RG3. I mean, but they just couldn't put it together. But now, you never know. You take the big guy out of the top, you put somebody in there, and next thing you know, the East is already strong. It's not like they needed any more players in there, but they'll be back. I think they will if they get the right guy. I met Joe Gibbs. I know on the racetrack why he won championships.
Absolutely.
So maybe they'll get the right GM in this time.
100%.
We'll see.
The right owner that puts the right GM in. I mean, look, and you can see this across all sports. The Knicks are the version in the NBA, for example. Dolan just continues to keep that team crushed, and it's impossible to watch. I don't know how Knicks fans put up with it. It's the same thing that the Skins fans have gone through. Those type of owners should be popped out. It should be like a relegation for owners like that. Like, hey, if you can't put it together over this period of time, you got to go. I'm talking to you too, Jerry Jones. You need this needs to be the year. That's all I'm saying. I say that every year, by the way, about this time period. So we'll see how it goes.
That player was Green. He was the fastest in the league.
Yes, Green. That's it. Yeah.
So, anyway, good conversation.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thanks, guys.
All right, let's go Cowboys. All right, so Dan, look, you got the big battleship win. So I'm going to try to sneak attack you right now. I'm coming at you like Pearl Harbor. Boom, coin. You got a coin on you? Or did I catch you sleeping?
Of course I got one.
Let me see it. What do you got?
All right, so I got a good one. This right here is a coin from when Ross Gibb was my colonel.
Yeah.
And the other night I needed a good favor from him.
Yeah.
One of my buddies is struggling. We don't have to get into that. You know the story.
Sure.
But this was a great brigade.
Yeah.
And we were a team, all of us. There was like 5 battalions in it. We did amazing work together.
Awesome.
Everybody was successful in that brigade. One of my buddies is struggling. I'm not going to go into names. You know that.
Yeah.
I don't do that. But for everybody that reached out the other night when I needed to reach out to my brother, I'm going to give you this coin because I think this is significant.
That's awesome. That coin's awesome. And you know what's also really interesting about it is this coin represents that brotherhood that you guys still have after you retire.
Yes.
You're still looking out for each other. It doesn't stop the day that you leave the military. In fact, that bond gets even stronger once you get out. It's a family for life, and this really represents it. And I think this is a great coin.
Yeah, and I tell everybody all the time. We talk about it in our show quite a bit.
Absolutely.
It's like, look, you never know when we're going to hit rock bottom.
Yeah.
And we got to be there to lift people up, right?
Yeah, this
That's
isn't
what it's
some.
all about.
You're not working at some box store. You're buying into a family for life,
That's
soldiers
right.
for life,
Soldiers for life.
That's great.
And thanks for that one.
Absolutely.
Leave it right there.
You bet.
Guess who's back? Command Sergeant Major Grillmaster about to do a Dantastic review straight off the smoker at South Tampa. Here we go. All right, this is Sergeant Major, the Grill Master, today on Dantastic Reviews. For my guests that are here, my crew that helped me film this show, I just made this pulled pork for the last 14 hours out on the smoker, hit it with white whiskey, oak barrels. Best Texas barbecue you get. Right in my hand, we call this the Old Bizzle Drizzle.
Oh, Bizzle Drizzle.
And I just dropped it on both of them, and we'll be right back, and then we'll do the review. All right, Jessica, you got to come over here because I got to have 2 opinions on this one because I don't think Seth, being from Texas, is a nice man sometimes. He don't treat me fairly. So y'all jump into this, and I want your reviews.
This has more sauce. So.
Well, you can pick whichever one you want. All I gotta say is this is my favorite Dantastic review because we're gonna get an awesome sandwich here. I can't wait.
A free lunch.
You gotta flip yours.
All right, boom.
I'm all for a free lunch.
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying. Flip it like this.
Yeah, it's Texas.
All right.
We call that the Texas two-step.
All right.
Baby.
You're in big trouble, sandwich. You're going downtown.
Let's see what we got going on here.
Oh wow.
Hit it again. You gotta always do the Texas
Phenomenal.
two-step. You gotta get one more in there.
Oh my god. I don't think.
You sure you should be selling yourself?
Oh, I'm gonna open my own barbecue stand here soon once people start clicking and subscribing.
Listen, I think that I'm going to need another sandwich just to make sure that I get a solid review. I want to be thorough
Oh,
here.
you get it
Can I
to
get
go.
a
phenomenal.
little bit more sauce?
Yep, you can after the review though.
Okay.
Because with pulled pork, you don't want to saturate it in sauce. You want to taste that
No,
bark,
the
the bark and the spice. But
Perfect.
if you want it more,
Oh my God.
yeah.
No, I'm not even a pork fan till today.
Oh, well, there you go. You got to go plate for the kids.
Absolutely.
So what you think, Seth? You know the rules.
Look, I had trouble for over scoring last time, so I'm going to say a 7.7.
You better put a 4 in between that and get on that airplane and get out of here. That's 747. What you talking about, man?
I'm gonna need another sandwich.
Can't do it.
I've never not.
No, the rule is anything in the
Exactly.
if it's in the 9s, it's got to be next level. So my brisket can go 9-1. My pulled pork's probably at 8-7. But on the O'Brien Richter scale, that's pretty good. So what do you think?
Definitely a 9.
Ah, well, there you go.
I'm changing my score. This is an 8.9 at a minimum right there. This is a phenomenal
But you
sandwich.
got to keep it real, though, because you can always do better.
I just want to see the look in your face when I threw 7.7
Oh,
down.
of course,
I thought I was about to get punched in the back of the head.
Fine. Final critique. You butter and toast the bread. That gives you a 10.
Yeah, but you...
I know, we're...
I'm with you. All right, that's a cut. We got our scores. We got the rest of the show to do. I ain't got time for this.
Butter your bread.
And I'm putting my stomach.
Take that sandwich out of here because it's in danger. So I'm going to grab it and it's going to be gone. Hey, you know what's been really amazing? After 28 years, 4 months, and 18 days, not that I'm counting, I finally reached my retirement point, and I'm really excited about it. But the thing that really blows me away is what a great deal the military retirement is. It's absolutely fantastic. Your pension that kicks in right away, disability that comes in right away, not when you're 62 or 65 or somewhere down the road. You get this now, and then you're able to go get another job on top of it, build another career, or underwrite to other hobbies you want to do. I mean, it's really super. I mean, what's your experience been with that?
I agree. I think that it's the absolute best business deal out there.
Yeah.
They offer you an opportunity. You go in, you graduate basic, or in your case, you go to officer candidate school,
Right.
or you get it through the ROTC certification program.
Yeah.
And they basically say, hey, I want $100 a month for 12 months. And then we're going to pay for your college.
It's fantastic.
I think, but there's so many more benefits that come with it with the TRICARE.
Oh yeah, look, you look at everything. Your health care is the best, most inexpensive health care you can get, which is fantastic. If you rate disability high enough, you're totally covered individually for your health care, and you get a check on top of it each month, which is tax-free, which is nice. The college benefits you talked about, the 9/11 GI Bill, holy cow. What's great about it is not just for you and me, we can pass it to our kids, and then it can be split up between them. So not only do you get your pension right away when you retire, you have health care for life, you and your spouse, right? Then your kids have college if you choose to give them the college package on top of it. It's really a heck of a thing. I guess the trick is you can't really advertise it, right? Like you can't put it out on the commercials that they use now because it would seem a little bit odd, but there's got to be a way to get that message out to the people. It's such a good gig.
But again, we talked about this in previous shows.
Yeah.
I think where some of the disconnect is we lose a lot of our candidates just due they're not eligible.
Yeah.
So not everybody's going to qualify to go in the military. So you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But once you're in, and if you could ride the green wave,
That's right. Well, what?
oh my God, I'd say it though. But so you don't realize it though, because even soldiers that don't totally retire.
Yeah.
And for some reason, if they suffer some kind of injury or if they have some kind of, issue that they got in the military, it's deemed that way.
Yeah.
And by the way, that is an independent source too. That the Army doctors don't do that.
Yeah.
As you know, you're going through that. But there's a lot to gain in the sense that you get the 5, 6, 7, 10 years, and then you're still young enough
Absolutely.
to jump right back into something. But when I get from a lot of people, when I'm out doing stuff, just doing some outreach or whatever, it's they all for the most part regret ever getting out.
Absolutely.
You ever hear that too?
My barber, I went and saw him a couple weeks ago, and he told me the exact same thing. It was the biggest mistake I made was I didn't re-up after 4 years. And he's like, look, I look back at it at the time, and this is a sort of a young person's mentality, and I suffered from it too. He looked at it as, man, I'm in my mid-20s now, I want to go do something totally different. 20 years sounds like such a long period of time. Yeah, that's great until you hit 40 years old and you realize how quickly that goes by. Right. It goes by in the blink of an eye, and all of a sudden you realize if you would have stayed in, you would be getting a paycheck for the rest of your life every single month for waking up in the morning with health care, with the 9/11 GI Bill, with a whole lot of runway ahead of you before for you to go do some other passion project or another job that you can layer on top of that money. And all of a sudden you go to from working at a good paycheck to I've got accountant problems. I got to figure out how to hide from my taxes, so to speak, though we all pay our taxes. It's key. When I was a kid, my parents sat me down at the 8-year marks. I'm like, I'm going to get out. I had job applications out. It was right as 9/11 was right before 9/11 kicked off. And my dad sat me down and he goes, look, you're crazy if you get out of this career right now. He's like, you have this time invested. The next 14 years, for example, are going to go by fast. You need to stick it out. Trust me on this. And, 9/11 is what kept me in and everything afterwards. But I'll tell you, now, 28 years later, I am so thankful I stuck around for it. And this message isn't just for young folks that are in the military now. It's for your parents. It's for educators. Anyone that touches or is able to influence youngsters that are either in the military or going to consider the military, you will not find a better retirement package that you get so early in your life than the military. I'm 100% certain of it. It's just fantastic.
I agree with you. But like I was telling you in a previous show that we talked about, it's not necessarily going to make you rich. Now, you might get lucky in your thrift savings plan or in your
Make you
401k,
comfortable.
Make you comfortable, but what you do is you always have a place to live.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's quality income. You don't have to worry about health care. This is for a retiree.
Absolutely.
But moreover, it was a launching pad, like I said before. For me, it gives you the stability to take opportunities because there's a lot of risk-averse people.
Absolutely.
I am the absolute risk taker, as you know. I don't care. I'll jump into something 100 miles an hour. If I feel it, I'm going to do it. But that career gave me an opportunity to pursue other things as far as being an entrepreneur or whatever, or starting a show like this with you, or a t-shirt company, or a coffee company, or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
You get to do what you want to do versus what you have to do.
That's a
to
good
cover all the bills, right? And it's such a wonderful program. So, when folks look at the military, when folks look at a career, I would highly recommend that you start at the back end of it and work your way to the beginning. Because when you look at this package now that we've both earned, it's such an amazing safety net and, like you said, launch pad into really exploring what you want to do next. And it's I can't say enough good things about it.
And I don't think it's fair either to say there's not another or other great career fields or whatever. But for this deal, for what it is, it's pretty hard to beat.
Absolutely.
And then, you got police departments and, state employees. They got drop programs or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But from the military, when you look at it, and then for some reason, if you do come out on the disability list, you're going to get tax breaks.
Absolutely.
From your state, depending where you're at. You're going to have adjustments in tax credits, right?
Sure.
Some people don't just pay out of them. And then if you take it a step further, then if you're in a certain state and you become 100% disabled, then some of your kids can go to all state colleges for free.
California, no property tax if you're 100%. State schools. Florida, it's scalable. You get 60% disabled. Then you get a 60% off your property tax, 70, 80, 90, 100. And make no mistake, the term disabled or disability is probably the wrong term in my opinion. If I could go fix them,
it's got its moments.
It should be called wear and tear. Because when I always thought about disability, I thought of folks that became handicapped from a serious injury. And it's not like that. When you sign that contract as a young man or woman to come join the military, the deal is where you came in and where you came out, whatever wear and tear you took, you will be compensated for it or taken care of for it on the back end of it, which can mean a whole lot of different things. So I would just say that when you look at these things and you look at the states of where you're going to retire, there's so many great opportunities there. And I don't think it gets talked about enough publicly when people are looking at career fields and looking at things that they want to do. And sometimes it just doesn't resonate with young folks who are not thinking about retirement. But you can join at 18 and get a retirement check at 38 years old. 38. I mean, that was a long time ago for me.
And if you're an exceller, that's about $27 to $3,000 a month.
Plus, if you get disability on top of it, you could get another, depending on if you're married with kids, you could get up to another $4,000 a month tax-free on top of that. And that's just for you being you waking up in the morning.
And there's a big misconception on that too. You touched on the disability piece, like you said, wear and tear.
Right.
But those are independent doctors. The military doesn't make those decisions.
That's right.
Those are farmed out people that are hired, so there is no prejudice.
That's right.
So you see people driving around and have a disabled tag on their vehicle or something, and they say they're disabled.
Yeah.
There's a difference. There's one that has the actual handicap official symbol.
Yeah.
And there's another one, like some of us have, that just DV.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean you can't still work. You have to there are different categories. Some of those people that have those plates that don't have the actual wheelchair official symbol of our government that recognize that, they're still engaged in the workplace.
Of course.
But it's what's going to happen to their body in 5, 10, 15 years in many cases. You know what I mean? It's like,
potentially.
just like you said, wear and tear. But it may not either.
And I would say what it allows you to do is, as you get older, I don't care what line of work in, you could be a lawyer, you could dig ditches, you could be in the military, your body starts to break down. What you get is full health care that entire time to make sure you don't break down early, to make sure that you don't get left hanging or left with a huge medical bill of things you have to pay for. All of that is covered. So it's a really interesting really interesting opportunity for folks to dig into, especially if you're looking at this career. It is a lifetime of taking care of you. And looping back to our coin piece earlier, it's also that group of people that you're with. So you get a financial safety net, you get a healthcare safety net, and you also leave with a family of friends that are going to take care of you after.
100%. And then the biggest thing is, no matter what people say about our military, we got our hiccups there, but we have a lot of amazing men and women doing amazing things. So it's not like you're sending your kid off into a new family,
right?
But they're going to take care of them. They're going to get substantial leave during that time, or passes in 4 days, depending on where you're at. Well, there's a lot of good things to at least explore.
Absolutely. To look at.
That's what I would say. Just look at it.
Look at it. Just be informed, like we've talked about.
Right.
Get informed, and then ask yourself: is this a great path for my son, daughter, niece, nephew, friend? And you're going to find that it's a great path. It's an absolutely fantastic path. So for the military and for the military pensions and all the things that you can earn in your career, I would just say explore it and dig into that possibility.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, cheers.
Good session there, bro.
All right, we've got a huge weekend of college football, especially SEC coming up, Dan. I hope you're ready to strap it on because it's going to be big time.
It's an incredible week of college football.
I can't wait. We've got, of course, sitting at the number 1 and number 2 spot, you've got Georgia versus Tennessee. That's going to be massive. And, of course, just sticking with the SEC, you've got Bama and LSU. LSU's already dropped 2, so they're not going to make it into the playoffs. But Alabama's still trying to knock their way in. They need to crush LSU if they want to stay in the fight.
But they're going into Death Valley, right?
They are. It's going to be tough.
So I'll tell you, that place is going to be like a Garth Brooks concert. They're going to cause an earthquake.
That's right. That's right.
Because LSU knows if they beat Bama, it sets them up for next year. It sets them up for recruiting, a lot of things.
Absolutely.
So, and they're still going to get a good bowl game. So I will just tell you, I think Alabama is not walking in there unscathed.
It's a dogfight every single year. Every single year they play, it's a problem. And what's going to be really fascinating is going to be you've got 4 teams currently slated in the college playoffs, right? You got Georgia, Tennessee, Ohio State, and Clemson. So you've got 1 versus 2 this week. I'm not sure you'll see either one of those teams drop out of the top 4 necessarily this week if it's a close, really good game. If it's tight, you might see somebody drop to the 4 spot or the 3 spot. Maybe. But you're going to still be in the hunt. But I look at Ohio State playing Northwestern. Ohio State's going to crush them. Right. Clemson is sort of on that sleeper path to the ACC. So,
but remember though, they're at Notre Dame.
That's true,
and that's my upset of the week.
I love this. Okay,
and I'll tell you why. Because again, this is their championship for the season for Notre Dame.
That's true.
So if they could knock off Clemson, then that helps recruiting next year. It's the same scenario with LSU. Excuse me, I don't know what happened to my notes. But you understand what I'm getting with?
Of course.
It's one of those things that it's a builder for next year.
And not only that, but you're talking about a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde Notre Dame team that showed us amazing games and just absolutely screwed up and lost games too, big time. So it really depends on which shows up, but I love it. That's a great sleeper choice.
And I'll take that, and I'll tell you what, though. I honestly think, though, that the big game of the year, considering who they are, is your wave.
That's it. I mean, we've got a big game against Tulsa this weekend. I love it.
So you talk about it, though, and it's like we talk about it in other sports as well. It's like with the NASCAR thing with Ross Chastain early in the show. It's fun to see these teams. Of course. That's why the Final Four is so exciting, because you get the Gonzagas in there or whoever, and you pull for those teams, and it makes the non-believers believers again. And if you guys beat Tulsa, you're 19 now. Somebody's coming off the board a little bit in the 13, 14, 15 spots. Oh, yeah. You guys might feasibly play out. You got the ponies. Then you're going to have to go and do Cincinnati at the end.
The UCF's in there, too. We got a couple good teams.
But if you go through there, the Wave could wave themselves right into here in Tampa at the Outback Bowl or the Cotton Bowl. We talked about this before.
That'd be great.
But they might go in at 11, 12.
One can dream, Dan. One can dream.
But you see what I'm saying? They could feasibly get the top 10.
I agree.
With a failure from Oregon.
That's right.
And then another loss to LSU. And the Wave could actually beat LSU in Louisiana as far as in the top 10.
That would be great.
It would be great. So I'll tell you, though, getting back to it, though.
Yeah.
Alabama going into Death Valley, given the circumstance, LSU's in a rebuild state, but they're playing some pretty good ball. Alabama needs a 9-line. It's an emergency scenario.
That's right.
They're calling in grid coordinates.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm telling you right now, if they lose that game, their season is absolutely done.
Yeah, they're finished. And I'll tell you, I'll raise you one Fox pepper spray, because Tennessee, God bless you, Rocky Top, you're going to need a couple cases of this against Georgia, because regardless of what I think about the Bulldogs personally, you're the king until you're not the king. And right now, Georgia is the king.
Absolutely.
Tennessee, you have the con, my friend. Go get them. Let's see what you can do. Let's see if you can't break it loose. Look, for college football's sake, I will be pulling for you. And it's not just because I'm anti-Georgia. I really think Tennessee's got a special team this year.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, Seth, this show has been awesome. We're having a good time doing it. We got a great team here. But, hey, I just want to, real quick plug. Some good supplements here. If you guys are interested, save a lot of money. Black Friday's on its way.
I love it.
Go to 9line, Downrange Subs, I made a mistake, .com. And use our code, last call 76. And then you can go to 9line Apparel now.
Awesome.
And if you guys want to get some t-shirts from Listen 9, my company, or our business partners over there at 9line, pick up a few shirts, big 20% off, sometimes more. And then we got Fox Labs as well. Go to them, use our code if you're looking for something for your children or your wife or significant other to protect themselves. Go ahead and get that. We got some amazing sponsors. We couldn't do the show without them, and it's a pleasure to have them on our team.
Absolutely, because look, it's all about team. Just like with the football discussions and the college and the NFL, these are our teammates here, and they make a phenomenal product. So I can't wait for this weekend. And then final thought, looking at that 26 November, Ohio State and Michigan. You see these two trains coming at each other at the same track. Somebody's got to give.
It's got to be hard. It's got to be Harbaugh's year. It's got to be.
We've got some great games coming up. I can't wait.
It's going to be fun. All right, brother. That's a good one, man. Cheers.
Cheers. Go Ravens.
Once again, we come to the end of episode 5.
Absolutely.
The salute tape at Last Call 76. What we would like to do this week is we would like to honor the military child, even though it's not their month right now. But we just have a lot of people in our lives that have served our country, and their children are often, moved around, go to different schools, sometimes 11 in your case. Yeah. And we just think that it's the most significant thing in our military families is to make sure that our children are so strong, right? And just be successful and do whatever they get to do in their future. But we put them through a lot, don't we, Seth?
Absolutely. And look, I'll say that my kids came up to me about a month ago and said, you know what, Dad, hey, congratulations on your retirement. And I stopped them right there. I go, whoa, this is our retirement.
Absolutely.
You've been with me every step of the way. This has been a team win. I couldn't have done it without you. And when we watch our kids, because I think we both enjoy this, our kids have been very successful despite the moves and things. They've grown so much by switching schools, making new friends. They are truly resilient, and they're my personal heroes. So I'll say I'll absolutely lift a glass of Horse Soldier bourbon, for veterans, by veterans, and salute all of our kids out there. Thank you for your careers in helping us and making everything possible for the nation.
Absolutely.